The name of it. That's fine. What's this one?
Wel? Ja. Maar dat heb ik niet.
Ja, dit was. Dat is het. Lite weiter angeschaut will, das wäre okay, jetzt machen wir was auf. Das war super gut. Kommer han skriva vad fucking idé?
Är det en förlorad?
Ja, gå ut där.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me in the back?
Yes.
I'm sorry for speaking English tonight. However, if I'd be speaking Danish, I probably would be sorry as well. Yes. Anyways, English it will be. The most famous television news presenter of all time, Walter Cronkite, had a way of finishing his broadcasts with the saying, "And that's the way it is." It was Cronkite's trademark. Now, you might not know Walter Cronkite, and then you don't think that he was famous. You might be too young to have heard of Walter Cronkite. Or you might have grown up somewhere where the most famous news presenter of all time in the world was someone from Norway. Or you might not have had a TV at all. But at least in the United States of America, Cronkite was famous, respected, and influential. He reported from the field on D-Day. He covered the Nuremberg trials. And from the early 60s and 19 years on, he headed CBS Evening News. Now, when Cronkite started presenting CBS Evening News, he wanted a sign-off. something like Edward R. Murrow's "Good night and good luck." A saying that is "good night and good luck" that might sound like it was taken just from the air, but which had developed during Murrow's coverage of the Second World War in London. During the time of the German air raids, the Londoners, when they retired, would say to each other, "Good night and good luck." And they would hope that they would see each other again the next morning. And this became a saying that was spread around. Even the upcoming Queen Elizabeth would finish a speech with "good night and good luck." That saying was that common. Cronkite's first attempt for a sign-off for CBS Evening News was a long statement that, yes, now after having heard the headlines on CBS Evening News, the viewers should remember to check out the full news next morning in the newspaper. The directors of CBS got furious. A TV news presenter promoting newspapers. Cronkite's second attempt was, and that's the way it is. The directors of CBS got furious again, because the idea that one can present the full state of the world in 15 minutes was, of course, rather ridiculous. Which Cronkite was quite aware of himself. That's why he had done the attempt with the newspapers. However, by the time the CBS directors got the opportunity to address the situation with Cronkite, the saying had already caught on. It had been established, people commented upon it, and so on and so forth. And Cronkite had a way of saying it, and a way of changing the way he said it, adapting it to the context. Joyful, sad, or cynical. So he got away with "that's the way it is," because of his great art as a TV news presenter and the natural authority he had. During the Vietnam War, CBS sent Cronkite to Vietnam. Cronkite came back to the United States, and he hadn't liked what he had seen. And CBS wanted him to make a comment about his impressions on air on CBS. Cronkite didn't want to, because it would clearly be taking a political stand which maybe would not fit so well with Uncle Cronkite. However, this time the directors of the CBS were persuasive, and Cronkite made a comment. And a lot of people think that this was what changed opinion in the United States in relation to the Vietnam War. Cronkite himself, a very modest man, said it was just a little drop in the ocean of opinion. Yeah, that's where my script ended. Actually, I've been improvised for a while. I haven't been improvised. Well, I was improvised, but that was in the 60s. Yes. Now you might think, why the hell is he here talking about Cronkite? And I thought somehow that he could introduce the subject of my little presentation here. As you know, these days, especially Denmark is in the public world eye. So I've been thinking about how to trademark Denmark. How to say something positive about Denmark without lying. Now, the way it is now is like this. This is the current slogan of the Danish Tourist Board. Can't have Cronkite lying on the floor. It was. They started to use it in February this year. Denmark, feel free. Now, I think there are a few problems with this slogan, apart from the horrendous graphic design. The first is that it's like really generic. That is, it could be a slogan for kind of like anything. A chain of furniture stores in Canada, for instance. Or an orange juice. There was someone the other day who told me about a friend of his who was allergic to oranges. And there is this orange juice in Denmark called real juice. And she could drink it. Yes. And the second problem is, like, is it true? You know, can you feel free in Denmark? Can everyone feel free in Denmark? Well, I think some people would say that can be debated. And there might be a risk here, at this point, that I would start to discuss things that are kind of boring, and that anyone here probably has heard about anyways. So, and also I'm getting a little bit tired. So, I'll go right into my little contribution. Denmark, der Coffe kan.
Michael always capture ready.
And are there any questions? Some people might think it's a radical solution, too radical, or just weird. But I have been thinking about it a great deal, a bit at least. So I'd be happy to, address the most violent confusions here now. Or we could take it later this evening in a more informal context. Any questions? I'm not going to interpret your shyness.
How would you translate it?
Right,
How would you translate it to English? How would you translate it?
One wouldn't translate it, it's impossible to translate, but it's about time to kind of try to make not only Denmark but also the Danish language cool. Other countries would get away with doing this without you asking this question, right? Italia, sì. Or España, olé. Or Germany, selbstverständlich. It's only in Denmark that people kind of, should we, yeah. And maybe it's about time also. I was born in Sweden, and the Swedes have taught the world to know the word smörgåsbord. So maybe it's about time that the world gets to know the expression "die Coffe kan." Because it's something that can mean a lot of different things, right? And as long as there is Coffe kan, one wouldn't be lying. Yes? No? Okay. Thank you very much.
It's been a total success. It's so funny that she goes to his friends and they don't even come and see me. It's true. It's freaking. It's like super junior and shit. This is so this is what this is.
Mas depois de uma hora,